What's something you didn't realize for years members of the opposite gender do? In my freshman year of college, one of my guy friends was horrified to hear that girls' periods last a week. He thought we have symptoms for a week and then let all the period blood out at once, like going to the bathroom. He thought that pads and tampons were for if you knew you wouldn't have enough time to go to the toilet to let it out. I didn't realize guys didn't wipe until I was like 16. I do. Well, it's more a dab than a wipe. But you see, that last drop that waits until you've put your junk away, I ain't given that thing a chance. Edit, I expected to be ostracized for this. But you fellas made me feel like I'm not alone. A single manly tear of solidarity descends my bearded cheek. This isn't really addressing the prompt, since it's something members of the same gender do, but I recently realized guys who are having friendly conversations rarely do so facing each other directly. They are either side by side, or standing in an L shape. It blew my mind when I read that and realized that I had been doing this my whole life without consciously realizing it. Until I was about a sophomore in HS, I didn't know whether girls bled out of their vaginas or their nipples. Gender education classes always said, privates, so I wasn't sure which set. A reason that made me more confused was I saw my friend lean over and I saw some toilet paper / gauze looking stuff in her bra, so I thought she was on her period. Guess she was just stuffing her bra, haha. I'd like to know if girls do this. As a man, if I walk into a bathroom where one other man is crapping, he will almost 100% of the time sniff to make a noise that I'll hear. Every freaking time. It's important to make each other aware of the situation. That's why whenever I leave the bathroom when someone's in the stall, I make sure to pull the paper towels with extra aplomb, and to almost dramatically open the door so my fellow man knows I have left the bathroom and can use it in peaceful solitude. I dated a guy in high school who thought pregnant women had contraptions when they went into labor. I worked with a 25-year-old gentleman, let's call him Paul because that's his real name, who believed every woman in the world had their period at the same time. When he told me this, I burst out laughing because I imagined that he saw women's periods as a werewolf change brought on by a full moon or something. Goalie Miss Paul. Edit, I realize periods sync up to a certain extent, please stop telling me this. I think you are missing the point that our dear mutual friend Paul believed that the symptoms and blood flow began at the exact same moment in time for every single woman on the planet. What happened to Paul? We agreed never to talk about that again. Not after the accident. Not before the great menstruation. Girls pee in the shower too. Not wash their hair every day. Some women only wash their hair a couple times a week. For black girls like myself, washing your hair every day can make it fall out. If you're sweating a lot in a day, you shower, but the natural oils in your hair are what keep it looking good. Using shampoo every day destroys it. Store/hide items in their bras. I didn't think boobs could get any better, what a fool I was. Men are constantly confused about why women bring so much stuff when they travel. Watching my wife pack for a trip once, it dawned on me, men pick stuff and pack it. Women pack stuff to pick from. OMG, I'm a woman and totally didn't realize this until now, but you're right. I just thought of the last few trips I went on and I totally did this. As a male, is it worth it? It doesn't seem worth it. It is. A dress shirt and decent pants covers 90% of a guy's needs with no social consequences. A woman's wardrobe is way more complicated. It can be managed more efficiently than we often do, but showing up for brunch in a cocktail dress isn't an option, so when you aren't certain what you may be doing at every hour, you just pack for all possibilities. And it often proves a lifesaver. Every girl I know seems to be in denial that guys jack off all the time. Especially if it's a guy they like. I'll never understand why some women view this as a bad thing or something men should be embarrassed about. It's natural, sometimes, okay, well all the time, men just have to take care of business. Not a big deal. I've always wondered if women do it all the time too. I'm aware women also masturbate, but to what extent? Is it as often as men do, sometimes every single day? I don't see why women wouldn't do it as often as men either. They enjoy it just as much / even more than us, so why not? That men and women take their shirts off differently. Try asking a member of the opposite gender how they take their shirt off and notice the difference from your own methods, lol. It makes you wonder why. Male shirts button with the left over the right. Female shirts button right over left. Some say this happened because a man would dress himself, and most right-handers find it easier to control the buttons with the dominant hand. Women were dressed by servants, so the buttons were reversed so they could be controlled again by the dominant hand. Sucks if you were a female servant. It is amazing that a lot of people, both men and women, don't realize this. I only figured it out a few years ago. The flush before you're done peeing toilet game you gentlemen do. Edit, thought it was self-explanatory, but since I'm getting a million messages asking what this is, apparently the game is to flush in the middle of peeing and see if you can finish before the toilet is done flushing. Timing is everything. I didn't think that women farted until I followed my extra-wide bottomed aunt up the stairs out of the church basement. I was 7 years old, right behind her, ass high. Took me by complete surprise, the horrible odor permeated my nose and mouth, I could taste it, made me dizzy. That's when I stopped believing in God. This is so embarrassing, but I'm female, and I didn't know myself that I was supposed to wipe after peeing until I was in middle school. Let's just say, before that, I always smelled like pee. Nobody ever told me I was supposed to do that, and I wasn't bright enough to figure it out on my own. It only occurred to me when a friend of mine was going to the bathroom to pee at my house and asked me for some toilet paper. Then I connected the dots and thought that that might solve my issue with always having dirty underwear. I wasn't a smart kid, I know. Edit number 2. No, my parents didn't teach me that, at least I don't remember them teaching me that while potty training. And they are not religious, but they are really uptight. All I know about sex and my own body now, I had to learn on my own. Hell, once I asked my mom to buy me tampons cause I was done with how messy pads are, and she told me no cause, those are for old ladies. And I also asked her plenty of times, while still underage, to take me to a gynecologist, and she never did. Once she made a weird comment about trying to find a gyno who wouldn't break my hymen while checking me down there. So yeah, you can guess what type of education I had. Edit number 3, and the most karma I've ever had is from admitting I didn't know how to wipe. Lovely. As a male movie theater employee, I was shocked to find out the women's restroom always gets filthier than the men's. Truck stop janitor here. I feel your pain. Day-old tampon smell, by the way, is the worst smell, period. I didn't realize males don't pee themselves if they have to go and laugh too hard. It's like a superpower. Best way for a man not to piss himself. Get a boner. It shuts down the urge to pee cause we think we are gonna have sexy time. Wieners are such morons. It took me a long time to realize that women try as hard as men do to look good / be cool in front of people they are interested in. What did you think before realizing this? That they were some sort of super race who didn't have to put on the act, I'd presume. Yeah, they're just better at making it seem effortless. Or maybe it's just because as guys, we can look at another guy and tell exactly what aspects of his appearance are enhancements and what's innate to him, so we know right away how hard he's trying. Whereas we might not realize exactly how long a woman's hairstyle or makeup might take and how much effort goes into that. The very first date I ever went on, I was so shy and nervous, and a little awkward. The guy never talked to me again after that. We worked together, so one day I approached him and asked why he didn't want to talk to me anymore. He said I was weird, and that he noticed how nervous I was, which apparently really turned him off to me. I didn't go on another date for 3 years. Women pheromones attract bobby pins, causing them to multiply and hang around all over the house or apartment. Let me tell you about bobby pins. I put 10 bobby pins in my hair one day for a performance. After the performance, I pulled out all 10, showered, brushed my hair, and went to bed. The next day, I woke up, brushed my hair again, and had to put in the same 10 bobby pins again. I specifically know it was 10 because I'd lost all of the others. That night, I pulled out 11 bobby pins. The things were breeding in my hair. I didn't realize until fairly recently that some guys wear underwear under their swimsuits. My swimsuit is basketball shorts, so I wear boxers with those. Or else when I get out of the water all you see is a bulge where my shorts are suctioned to my thing. Makes sense. I've seen guys wear swim trunks with boxers. I think they said something about the mesh being uncomfortable. Got a female roommate recently, and we share a bathroom. I had no idea that girls collect their hair strands on the shower wall to save them clogging the drain. Apparently all girls do this according to the other 2 that I asked. This is the exact opposite of the question, but it's hilarious, so I figured I'd post it anyway. In college I had a friend who said that one time he had sex with a girl and she jeweled all over the place. I'm a girl and I was completely baffled. He went on to elaborate that when some girls come, they expel little jewels out of their vagina just like squirting. I told him he should probably get checked because that crap ain't right. So to sort of answer the question, my friend thought that jewels came out of girls' vaginas until he was 19. I didn't realize girls are just as immature about farts as guys are. I learned that guys never ever talk in the bathroom. I'm a bit jealous. I have several colleagues who will continue a conversation as I'm peeing. It's really awkward. I like to pee in silence. I never thought guys would love getting pampered with beauty products and spas, but I was so wrong. I have so many guy friends who are using me as an excuse to go for spa sessions. Most men don't consider it manly to go to spas, but it is so damn nice to go to them. The closest manly spa thing to do is to go for a hot shave. Considering a stranger is holding a razor-sharp razor to your throat, it is actually wonderfully relaxing. Agreed. No one is touching my hands or feet. But the old-fashioned hot straight razor shave is a dying art in many places, unfortunately. I blame this on the uprise of hipsters and beards. I thought girls came from emotional boys. When I was young, my parents threatened me with castration whenever I acted emotionally. They would say something along the lines of, "If you don't stop crying then we'll cut your balls off and turn you into a girl. Do you want that?" Harsh, but it was very effective. I would always stop crying after that because I did not want to lose my balls, even though at the time I could not come up with reasons why I even had balls. All I knew was that I did not want to get my balls cut off. At that time I started to realize that girls probably came from boys who were too emotional. There were moments when I really wanted to ask a girl how she lost her balls, but I was too afraid to ask and I did not want to have her relive that awful experience. Part of me also did not want to hear the painful feeling of having your balls cut off too. I actually did believe this for a while. Especially when at that time I heard rumors of circumcision. I thought both were somehow related. Eventually, I would be scarred for a year when I was sort of hanging out with a girl around my age and I noticed that she wasn't wearing any underwear. I panicked and ran off. For the longest time, I thought I saw the aftermath of castration and all that was left on her lower body was the remnants of what was a penis and testicles. I could not go to sleep for a while because of the horrible nightmares I would get sometimes. TLDR, girls were boys. Had lots of nightmares. For years I thought women wanted to hear that they looked better without their makeup, until I realized women almost seem to think of beauty as a learned skill instead of an inherent quality, and that fashion and makeup are appealing to them because it's something about their appearance that they have full control over. Now when I hear a guy claiming makeup disgusts them and that they think their crush/flirt target wants to hear they look better without it, it sounds desperate and like they don't actually understand or like that woman's femininity. It sounds like they're basically saying, "You did all this hard work for nothing," and women would rather hear that it was worth it and that all that hard work was appreciated. I'm sure I'm getting something wrong in this. I've never really shared this thought or realization with anyone, so I don't know how accurate it actually is. Obligatory edit. Oh damn, I actually got gold for this? Neat, emoticon, riant de toutes ses dents. Second edit to better explain some stuff I glossed over. Copied and paraphrased from another reply. If you genuinely just prefer a natural look or don't like when a girl wears makeup, either because you just prefer how a woman looks without it or because you'd rather not have it getting everywhere, your motives when you say a girl looks better without it are probably different from what I was talking about. Basically what I'm talking about at least is when a fedorable, nice guy thinks he's being clever with it when he's actually scraping the bottom of the barrel for a more meaningful compliment and thinks he's somehow freeing the girl from imagined body image issues. In those cases it also can come off as a fundamental lack of understanding about femininity. It can also be a sign of misogynistic tendencies if he shows disgust at things like makeup or really anything that's, almost, purely part of a woman's world and not a man's. Maybe I'm reading into that too deeply, but when I hear another guy trying to knock practically everything feminine that he sees or hears about, it really doesn't sound like someone who likes women. I'm not in any way saying that's what's going on if you just don't like makeup. I'm sure for most of you who don't it isn't. I just thought I should explain that better and explain the distinction between what I'm talking about and guys who just don't like working around their girls' makeup at intimate moments or who just don't like obvious makeup. I thought that when women complained, they might appreciate advice or assistance. It took a girlfriend and a wife to tell me that no, they just wanted to complain and my offers of help were annoying.